Once upon a time, in a province not far from the sea, there lived a man so wealthy that his houses seemed to breathe gold. His gardens stretched wider than the eye could wander. His stables overflowed with horses, and his cupboards glimmered with silver and crystal. Yet none of this wealth was spoken of as much as his beard, thick, flowing, and of such a strange, cold shade of blue that it chilled anyone who looked at him for too long. They called him Bluebeard. He was not old, nor was he unhandsome, yet the unnatural color of his beard lent his face an air of unease, as though he belonged to a story one ought not to enter. More troubling still were the whispers, but he had been married more than once, and that no one quite knew what had become of his wives.
What do you really think happened to all those women he married?
Heaven only knows.
But Bluebeard was rich, and wealth has a strange way of dulling fear. In the village lived two young sisters of noble but modest birth. Bluebeard visited them often, inviting them and their mother to his country estate, a sprawling chateau filled with silks, tapestries, and rooms so vast they seemed built for kings. He hosted banquets with music that shimmered through the night, offering jewels, gowns, and laughter, as though generosity were his nature. Still, the elder sister whispered,
He frightens me. That beard, it looks unnatural. It's not the beard I fear, it's his smile.
Yet curiosity and comfort are strong persuaders. Bluebeard's manners were gentle, his riches dazzling, and soon enough the younger sister, whom he favored, began to see less of the beard and more of the man. When he asked for her hand in marriage, she hesitated only long enough to satisfy politeness.
Would you honor me as my wife?
Yes.
A wedding followed, grand and golden. The village came to marvel at the bride's fortune, while some murmured their prayers for her under their breath. For all could sense that beneath Bluebeard's charm lay something dark and silent, waiting. For several weeks after the wedding, life seemed touched by paradise. Bluebeard's new wife was treated with every kindness. Her husband's voice was soft, his eyes affectionate, his gifts endless. There were dinners under jeweled chandeliers, music that spilled from one room into the next, and a household that bent to her slightest wish. Then, one morning, he came to her with news.
My dear, I must leave you for a few days. There are matters of business that cannot wait.
Please open all the rooms in the chateau, the galleries, the wardrobes, the strong rooms where gold and silver are kept.
You may enter wherever you please. Enjoy yourself. Invite your friends if you wish. But this one opens a small room at the end of the long north corridor. You must not enter it. On this, I insist. If you do, my anger will know no bounds.
He handed her a heavy ring of keys, each one carved with intricate designs. The young wife promised she would obey. Bluebeard smiled, kissed her hand, and departed. At first she was content to wander through the open doors. Each room dazzled her. Wardrobes filled with gowns of silk and velvet, cabinets of jewels that glowed like pieces of dawn, mirrors framed in gold that reflected her beauty 100-fold. But as the days passed, one thought began to coil in her mind like smoke. What could possibly be in that forbidden room? The more she tried to ignore it, the more the door seemed to whisper her name. One afternoon, when sunlight fell in long beams through the windows and the house was silent, she took the golden key and walked down the corridor. The last door stood small and plain, out of place among all the splendor. Her hand trembled as she fit the golden key into the lock. The door opened with a slow sigh. Inside, she saw what no heart can prepare for. The floor was slick and dark, the walls lined with the bodies of women, his former wives, their silks stiff with dried blood. The air was heavy and silent. She dropped the key in horror. It clinked against the stones and landed in a pool of blood. When she picked it up, she found that the stain would not wash away. No matter how she rubbed or wept, the mark remained deep, red, and accusing. That very evening, Bluebeard returned. His wife hurried to greet him, forcing a smile, her heart pounding as she prayed he would not notice the missing sheen of one small key.
You have been well, my dear. May I have my keys?
She handed them over, one by one, her palms sweating. As he examined the golden key, his eyes hardened.
Why is this key stained?
Her lips parted, but no words came. He turned towards her, his face now carved with fury.
You went into the forbidden room.
Forgive me, please. It was only curiosity, a moment's weakness.
Prepare yourself. You will die by morning.
That night, she lay trembling in her chamber, the key still in her hand like a shard of guilt. Her sister Anne had come to stay for a few days.
Sister, are you awake?
Now she whispered through the door, telling her everything.
He knows. He will kill me at dawn. Go to the tower and watch for our brothers. I will watch. Hold fast, sister.
At sunrise, the young wife knelt in her chamber, praying as she listened to the echo of Bluebeard's boots pacing below. Each step felt like the tolling of a clock, counting down her last moments. From the tower, Anne called out, "I see nothing, sister." Time dragged forward like a wound.
Will they never come?
Bluebeard's voice thundered from below.
Wife, come down.
The sound of Bluebeard's footsteps drew nearer. Her sister's voice floated down again.
I see dust. Something in the distance.
Once more, wife. Are you ready?
Just a moment. Just a moment to pray.
If you do not come down at once, I will drag you by your hair.
Bluebeard's hand struck the door. She fell to the floor, sobbing, whispering one last prayer that time would bend, that her brother's horses would fly. Then Anne's voice rang out like a bell.
They are coming, sister. 2 riders, our brothers. They are galloping fast.
But Bluebeard was already upon her.
Your time is done.
Please, only one moment to pray.
Pray, if you must, but make it brief.
She dropped to her knees, her tears falling fast, her heart hammering like a trapped bird. Then a sound split the air, the pounding of hooves, the crash of the gates. Bluebeard turned toward the noise, just as 2 men stormed through the doorway, the young wife's brothers, swords drawn, faces set with wrath. The fight was short but fierce. Bluebeard was strong, but rage and guilt had made him clumsy. The brothers struck him down where he stood. His blade fell first, then his body, and at last his monstrous head, the beard still bright as frost, rolled upon the floor. When silence finally returned, the young wife stood trembling, unable to believe she was still alive. Her brothers embraced her, her sister wept, and the servants crept out from their hiding places, whispering blessings and prayers. They buried Bluebeard without ceremony, for there was no priest who would speak his name. His estates, vast and gleaming, now belonged to the woman who had dared open the forbidden door. For a time, she lived quietly, haunted by what she had seen. She gave her sister Anne a handsome dowry, saw her brothers honored for their courage, and spent long seasons restoring what Bluebeard's cruelty had tainted. When she married again, it was to a man whose kindness shone brighter than any jewel. He never forbade her a room, nor hid a key, nor spoke to her in anger. And though she smiled and lived well, she kept the small golden key, its stain faded to a faint shadow, a reminder that knowledge has its price, and innocence once lost can never be restored.